Testing. Please work. Yay! Alright, hello everyone and welcome to a brand new season of Driven by Speed. We're into season 3 now, which is totally awesome. I am Broad Holden. I'll be your commentator, not just for this evening but for the season. Yes, I have been on the grid for the first couple of seasons, but I have elected to take on the commentary role so our favourite American doesn't have to stay up at preposterously late times to do this every week. So it will probably be a shared job between us two throughout the season, but I am super excited to be in the box. I did do the last race of last season. Before that, it's been a fairly long time since I've done commentary, so I'm looking forward to giving it another crack on the brand new F1 22 game. So most leagues will be kicking off in the next week or two, I think. The game's been out for about a month now, so drivers should have a bit of an idea of how the game handles. But yeah, it's always good starting a new game. You tend to see a couple of different people rise to the top, just with the way the game sort of plays. So looking forward to see what these guys can do. I'll just link the stream in the chat as promised. That should be alright now. Lovely. Alright. Well, we'll do a bit of housekeeping first, I suppose. We do have a couple of new drivers on the grid. Most of our grid is retained from last season, which is great. So good to have a fair few familiar names in here, but we do have a couple of changes. Obviously, I am off the full-time grid. We also have Tim Ant, who is becoming a reserve this season after a failed championship push last season. So he's in tonight as a reserve driver, but he will not be on the full-time grid. A couple of new drivers. We have Loggy Bear. I assume it's Loggy, not Logie. Double G. So that's going to be cool to see how he goes in the first couple of weeks, especially. See where his pace is at. Yeah, and we have Prying Stingray as well, is on the full-time grid, another reserve from last season, so we'll welcome him in the Ferrari. Speaking of cars, I will just quickly run through the teams for this season. Most of the full-time grid is here, but a couple of reserves. So the Mercedes occupied by Conehouse and Lockie Bear, so not a bad team there. Red Bull will be Honest Cook and NZ Andre. McLaren False Equation 61 and Orphan Drop, so not a bad team there. Alpine Absolute Unit was our season 1 champion with the Alpine, so that's worth keeping note of. We'll see if we can go back to back in the Alpine, and he'll be paired by Prezzo, who was very, very fast in his day. If you can keep it on the track during the race, then anything's really possible for him, so that could be a team to watch, definitely, the Alpines. Aston Martin occupied by JJ and Reedy, neither of which are here tonight actually, so we won't have an Aston Martin on the grid for round 1, unfortunately, but they will be driving for that team in the next couple of weeks and onwards. The Ferrari have down the race at Prying Stingray, AlphaTauri, Cooter and Ramp, the best buddies there. Alfa Romeo, Lane and SC Big Chich. So that's a pretty solid team there as well, actually. Lane was contending for the title last season in the drivers. Incredibly consistent, and Chich didn't have the greatest season last season, so he'll be hoping to bounce back on this game. As I said before, new game, might see a couple of new faces up top, so we'll see if he can return to some winning ways. Banana Cake Pie, our season 2 champion, joins Dynamite in the Williams. So that's probably going to be the favourite for the constructors. Those two both proven race winners. So they'll be contending for wins most weeks, I think. And the Half Boys, Can't Do Crap and Vision. So for tonight, Tim is replacing Can't Do Crap. Both of those guys are quite solid drivers. We're teammates for Red Bull last season, of course. So reunited once again. So pretty nice there, I suppose. We'll try and find a couple of guys. Might jump on board with Unit. See how the qualifying is going. We're out the wonderful circuit, like Castellet. France, Paul Ricard goes by many names. Yeah, real life Grand Prix yesterday, so sort of fitting, I suppose, that we come here straight away. But yeah, nice big wide circuit. Plenty of runoff, no real gravel or walls, so beating it into the wall shouldn't really be a thing. around here. Quite easy to track extend on the game. The curves are very flat, and because the track is so wide, it's very tempting to run wide outside of the white lines. So you might see a fair few penalties tonight. But yeah, I suppose it comes with its own challenges, as every circuit does. Very fast, very flowing. Plenty of overtaking chances on track, particularly on life when we're playing on the game. It's not necessarily the best racetrack in real life for overtaking, but it seems to provide some good racing in the game. Probably just because of its width and a couple of long DRS straights, a couple of braking zones. So yeah, usually it's not too bad a race to watch actually. So not a bad setting for round one. It will be a 20-round season. So out of 22 tracks on the calendar, we have admitted 2. The idea is we don't want the season to go too long, and we do want to add some of the DLCs if they are to become a thing. We don't want to wait too long for those, but 20 races seems like a nice number as well. So we will be going to the full calendar, bar Spain, and I think Hungary is the other one that we're missing, courtesy of the random wheel, which has become a kind of iconic, I suppose, of this league. But yeah, every other track we're going to, there are 3 super sprints as well, so around 5, 10 and 15. So they'll consist of 2 half-length races worth a varying number of points each. So they'll change things up a little bit. The rest of the format is fairly standard: short qualifying, 18-minute session, and a 50% race. So I think that kind of summarises everything that we need to know. Point system, same as last season. So top 15 will get points. The winner will get 35 points and goes down to 1 point for 15th place at fairly regular intervals. We do have a retirement on track for whatever reason. Not really sure what's happened there. Ramp. Tad weird, but whatever. So yeah, let's get on with this race, I suppose. France, interesting track. Quite high speed, quite wide, so probably got to see a fair few low downforce settings to try and maximise those long straights. You do spend a lot of the time on full throttle, particularly in the first and second sectors, so you do want to maximise that straight line speed, but you do need a bit of downforce as well, particularly for this third sector. If you jump on board this unit here, see some of these long corners, you want to try and maintain the mid-corner speed throughout the whole thing and get on the power as soon as you can. So you do need a bit of front end. You do need to make sure you hit back down as well. So yeah, I guess a bit of a toss-up with the setup, whether you want to go aggressive with the straight line speed and potentially risk a bit of qualifying pace for some race pace, or whether you want to have the grip in the corners and try and keep up on the straights. There's a couple of ways you can approach it. It's usually not too bad a track for setups, because there are a couple of ways you can go. For the session at the moment, Orphan leads all comers in the McLaren with a 30.9. He's actually 7/10 quicker than Tim at the moment. I do need to sort out this broadcast thingy. I'm not sure how much of this you can customize, but I don't really have all this data up because it does block lots of the screen, unfortunately. I haven't actually done that much investigating with the display and all that sort of stuff, so I might have to do that before next week. It would be nice if you could shrink that leaderboard on the left-hand side there. If you can, then let me know how to, if anyone's watching, because it would be nice to not have to pull that down every time. I do like having that right-hand side up as well, so I can swing between drivers, and rather than just doing this whole spammy thing, which looks a bit weird. But for now, I think the spammy thing's going to be the way to go. We don't need the tyres there either at the moment because everyone's on softs. So yeah, 8 minutes left in qualifying. Most of the grid has done laps, but a few of them are unrepresentative though, as Stingray, no, that's not Stingray, it's Chich, doing a couple of loopy loops. The corner heading. Oh, and so is who's that? Dynamite, is it? Oh, this is a picture, isn't it? So a couple of guys losing the back end on the corner heading onto the straight. Can be a bit tricky for those running no traction control. Turning and putting the full power down is not the easiest of things to do. And on this game, it is a little bit sensitive sometimes, I suppose. Some weird things happening here with Pass Boys. So you do have to be a little bit careful there. I guess, yeah, it's quite easy for the back end to go around if you don't quite straighten up enough while you're putting the power down. So it could be the reason for those spins. Otherwise, maybe just a lapse of attention, I'm not really sure. But yeah, there's not many places you are going to make a major mistake around here because it's so wide. Look at that, there's not really anything to hit. Just some curves to cut like Vision does there, so a bit annoying there for Vision. Oh, and there's another donut going now for another half. So people don't seem to be liking the power here, like putting the power down, so maybe it's something to pay attention to in the race. That could be a potentially tricky corner. Banana Cake Pie in the comments, 40-50 wings. I would not recommend that. Full wet setup. I wonder if that means there's going to be some rain in the race. I'm not too sure. It'll be interesting to see when we get to that point. I don't know the weather from here. I don't get to choose to see it like you would as a driver in the garage, so I guess we'll find out. But 40-50 seems a bit ridiculous for a dry session. Stingray thought he had no wing there for a second. All black Ferrari wings a bit deceiving there. I might ride on board for a lap. Stingray should be in the top couple of places. I'm assuming he does qualify. I know when he reserves, he enjoys starting from the back and trying to get as far as he can. But I guess as a full-time driver now, Stingray can qualify without sort of hesitation, I suppose. So I would expect Stingray to be there or thereabouts in the pace. He is notoriously good at games just in general. Seems to be good at everything that he picks up. So we expect him to be near the top here, as he's proven to be in the past. Heavy braking down here, potential overtaking zone, nice and wide, so you can run side by side through there. Be a little bit careful putting power down there, perhaps don't catch too much of that inside curve. He's done a pretty good job there. Onto the next straight, not a DRS straight this one, so you can get a tow through here. Very significantly in a race if you are close behind someone, flat out easy. This is a tough corner. There are a lot of lines you can take. You can kind of nick both apexes like Stingray's doing here, or you can run a fair bit wider at the entry and then try and turn in a bit earlier and straighten up that exit earlier. So a couple of different approaches. That left-hander there is probably one of the trickiest corners in the calendar. If you don't run ABS as an assist, trail braking at relatively high speed, I suppose, is tricky. No straight entry into there. And the last couple of corners, all about getting the front end pointed in. This is where you do need the front downforce. Up to the line, Stingray, where did he go? Only 13th. Okay, so not the best lap. 1:33.4, so maybe just doing a couple of cycles. Although he's not using a battery, so that would explain it. Still at 100% on this bit of a glitch on my end. So I suppose if you do use the battery, then you are going to go faster because it does lighten up the car. If you ask him, so yeah, maybe just doing laps until the last run for Stingray. I guess he's pretty confident in his 1 lap pace. He'll probably just wait till the end and bang out a lap if he doesn't want to just start at the back like he normally does. So we'll have to see. Banana and Lane now, 2 of our 3 main championship protagonists from last season. Neither of them have set laps yet, so I'm not sure whether it's corner cutting or just wanting to wait till the end. Banana is on track now, Lane still is not on track. I'm not sure if they've done any laps yet. You can check the race director, can you? So he hasn't actually done a time yet. Banana has done 2 invalid laps, there you go. So it is track limits for Banana, but for Lane, he hasn't done a lap yet. So there you go. We'll see if he does elect to come out. I assume being a potential championship contender that you wouldn't want to start from the back if you were Lane, so hopefully he can put a lap together towards the end. Orphan Drop still leads, but only a 100th away is Kuda, and then 3/10 back to Tim. Andre not far behind, and then it's quite close from P7 to P11. Only a couple of tenths between those guys and a bit of a spread behind that, so at the moment there's a 6-second gap between 1st and 15th. The guys who have set laps, so maybe a couple of guys still getting a feel of the game. I suppose not too many laps done in multiplayer cars yet because the leagues haven't really started. A lot of people will be doing single player stuff, maybe not as much time trial, so we do expect the pace to be a little bit varying initially depending on how many multiplayer laps these guys have done. So yeah, we'll see if that kind of converges towards the end of the session as Banana will start his probably going to be his final lap. Someone's getting out the way there, didn't see who that was. Through sector 1, turn 1, 2, easy to cut if you carry too much speed, but a really fun sequence there. Turn 3, cut as much of these as you can, really flat if you want to open up turn 5 and get the power soon here. Traction not a problem for Banana, hashtag easy mode. so he just does whatever he wants there. Turns the throttle. Onto the long straight in the Williams DRS Open. DRS down this straight as well as the main straight. So something to take note of. Fair few yellows around the track, probably just guys getting around the place, although there is a bit of a stack heading onto the straight. I'm not sure what car it is, it might be the other Williams, just looking at the track map there. So a couple of issues happening in that sequence actually, quite regular. So not too ideal. Yeah, oh well. Anyway, Bernardo coming through the third sector now, so past the second sector. I didn't see the split times. He won't have a split time because it's his first actual lap, so he just needs to keep it on the black stuff, and he'll get a time on the board. One thing to note on this game compared to last game is the tyre rule doesn't exist in terms of qualifying tyres. So previously, if you're in the top 10, you have to start those tyres. But because that is no longer a thing in real F1, it's no longer a thing in the game. So that's why no one is putting on the mediums in qualifying. So everyone will be able to throw a new set of whatever tyres they want on at the start. Bernardo only 13th place. Maybe a tad surprising, as we've got a Ferrari straight lining everything, which is illegal if you do read our racing rules. So if he continues to straight line everything, he will get penalised fairly significantly. So yes, naughty guys, don't do that. Dan, if you're watching, I'm talking to you. So yeah, this is probably one of the only tracks where this is going to be a thing because there's so much runoff and straight line everything, I suppose. But yeah, looks like he has left it a little bit late to get a qualifying lap and is not going to make the line anyway. So hopefully it doesn't affect other people in their qualifying laps. I'm pretty sure the AI is set reasonably high, so they shouldn't block too many people. You'd rather not get it in the way anyway. Let's try and find a guy who might be challenging for pole. Or maybe Dynamite. 2.5 tenths up. Vision and Tim now. Tim just crossing the line there. They are the ones to beat in the Haas's. So Vision with 30.5, which is a pretty solid lap. 4 tenths clear of Tim. So if you look at it that way, very, very solid lap. Yeah, I'm not sure how many guys are going to challenge that actually. Looking at the times now, Lane is not going to set a lap in this session. So he'll start at the back. I do apologise if there are momentary breaks of silence. I'm kind of hay fevery, so it's probably just a cough break rather than me disappearing somewhere. So the flag is dropped, so everyone coming across the line for their final runs. 6 or 7 people have finished the session now, but we'll wait to see if anyone can challenge the Haas of Vision. We're even getting on the front row alongside him. Dynamite coming through the final corner now. Really important to hook this up. Try and carry it onto the straight and get on the power as soon as you can. Shortest run to the line, and Dynamite will go P9 for 31.8. So not too bad there. Stingray will go into second place. He does split the Haas's in the end, so 30.8. 3 tenths behind Vision. The last couple of guys coming across now. Unit is cuffing things. Not sure if he's on a hot lap or not. Looks like Kuda's cutting things as well. So these guys will probably all get penalties next week. So don't do that, guys. Clearly haven't read the racing rules. Kuda will finish in P5. And I think that's it. So not too many big movers in that last little run there. Vision will take the first pole of the season. Ahead of Stingray and Tim. So Tim showing that he's still some class. Orphan Drop will take P4. It's not a bad start here at all. Kuda, Prezzo, Unit, so the 2 Alpine boys sitting in 6th and 7th. Andre, False, and Dynamite round up the top 10. Crookie in 11th, Conehouse, Chich down the race. So Banana Cake Pie, a bit of a surprise perhaps down there in 15th place. Lockie Bear in 16th. And then we had, I think it was Ramp and Lane not setting laps. So yeah, a bit of a choppy, changey grid, I suppose. Should make for an interesting race. See who's got the race pace compared to qualifying. I know some guys are much better at racing than qualifying. So let's see how that goes. Don't really have to worry about this. I already went through the grid, but there it is for you all. So 3 seconds from top to bottom in the end, so a little bit closer than it was before. Probably partially due to those track limits being a thing, and just a bit of general pace on a new game. So yeah, it should make for an interesting race. Looking forward to seeing who can come out on top. As I said in the qualifying towards the start. It is a place where you can overtake, so with those DRS straights and a couple of heavy braking zones, we should see a couple of moves, which is pretty good. So yeah, curious to see how that all works out. But we'll have about a minute until they load into the session, and then we'll have the formation lap and all that. So a little bit of time to kill now. If anyone's got any questions about the season or the calendar or whatever, now's the time to ask and I can answer. Other than that, we'll just find something to small talk about, I suppose. Might just run through the calendar, actually. I don't think I've done that. So France this week, round 2 will be at Monaco. So I haven't been there for a while, actually. Tends to get voted off. I can't imagine why. Imola, Netherlands, Bahrain will be a super sprint to round 5. Canada, Belgium, Japan, that's a nice little run. USA, Baku will be our second super sprint, so that should be a pretty tasty round, actually. Britain, Singapore, Saudi, Austria, Monza will be the third super sprint, and then we'll finish off with Abu Dhabi, Miami, Brazil, Australia, and Mexico. So not a bad calendar. Bit of a tough little period at the start. I think Monaco, Imola, Netherlands will be quite interesting. 3, you could probably say time trial sort of races, I suppose. In terms of one lap pace being really important at all 3 of them. But then a couple of really nice races at the end. You look at Abu Dhabi, Miami, Brazil, Australia, Mexico as the last 5. If the championship does come down to those, then they should make for some interesting races. But yeah, not a bad calendar. Once again, determined by the wheel. As all things in this league tend to be, I suppose. People like a bit of variety in their life, I suppose. Our viewing numbers on the stream have gone down, probably half of the drivers, so yes, fair enough, pay attention, lads, to your race. Yeah, we'll see who can come out on top. Let's check these tyres. Tyre, there we go. So, oh, interesting. A couple of interesting things here. So, most people are on the mediums, as expected. Stingray in second is on the hard, so you normally wouldn't expect someone so high up to be on a harder tyre. From what I've heard, the overcut is definitely a thing on this game, so staying out longer initially might actually be beneficial compared to how it was in other games, because the tyre warm-up is a lot more of a thing in this game. It takes a lot longer to warm up the tyres, so the pace on an outlap, or first lap out of the pits, is a lot slower. Like, you can't really just be on the money straight away, so maybe just thinking long-term for Stingray. Dynamite as well on the hards, as well as Banana Cake Pie in 15th. Conehouse will start the softs in 12th, so the only driver too. In terms of the strategy, I don't know how the tyres really hold up in this game. In the past, it's been a medium hard or a soft medium medium. Both of them are fairly equal, I suppose, in terms of pace. You can overtake, so 2-stop is a possibility, but it looks like most people are going to try and go for that 1-stop. The pit lane is quite long. I think it has been extended this game, so, or this kind of year in real life as well, so that might deter people from the 2-stop. You might see some more 1-stops. This is something I'm curious to see, actually, this grid lineup, because it is manual this game. So we'll see if everyone keeps in line and manages to find their spot okay. Someone has dropped it. Crook's been disqualified. Yeah, you butchered that, so yeah, fair enough. Alright, well, that was interesting. We'll go back to the top because we should be just about ready to go. There are our lights. Hopefully we're not braking. Hopefully we're not braking. I think everyone's on the grid, aren't they? So yeah. Not sure what the wait is now. Is everyone lined up? Yep. We'll wait a minute and see if anything is going to work. This was definitely a thing at the start of last game, having lobby issues. They did manage to fix it with a couple of updates in the sort of near kind of distance after that. I'll see if I can find a driver to talk to see if they're having any issues there. If we do have issues, we'll reset the lobby and probably just do a new race. Hopefully there's no Codemasters update or anything like that that will affect a restarted lobby. So I'll just wait and see what the drivers are saying, because it does look like we have a little bit of an issue. So yeah, bear with me. I'll be back in a minute. Alright, yeah, so we are stuck. It's not just a me glitch, so we will... I wonder if it's update related. If it is, then we might have a bit of a wait till we get the race going again, depending on how long it lasts. Oh, we got a strategy. I guess that's a good sign. Bye-bye strategy. So maybe there was an update. Brusco in the comments, is it bad time to say patch 106 is out? Yes, it is very bad timing. I'm not sure why that would affect the lobby that we're already in though. Normally it only affects it if you drop out and then jump back in again. So that is a weird one. I'll just see if we can find out how big it is. If it's a quick update, then we'll get the driver to do it and restart afterwards. So it might be about a 20-minute wait. If it's a big one, then we may postpone / push back another week. So just bear with me for another minute. I suppose fairly standard thing these days for the first couple of rounds to be affected by updates while they do fix the game. It would be nice if they did bring out a fixed game rather than a half-finished game that they have to constantly update. But that's not a thing anymore, it seems. But it is looking more and more like that we have to move things back. Yeah, alright, so we will be abandoning for now. If this update is quick, then we will probably restart again with a new channel, a new video on the channel. If it is big, then we will either push the whole calendar back a week, or we'll plug this on at the end of the season. So, yeah, I will end the stream now. I've got the qualifying results there, so if we don't see you in about 30 minutes or less, then we will abandon till next week. We might adjust the starting time to try and avoid these maintenance updates. But unfortunately, I think that's the only way to really go about it. So I'll get the drivers to jump out and do that update, and we'll see how we go. Yeah, I suppose maybe to be expected for the start of a new game cycle, but still disappointing nonetheless. So we'll wind things up for now, and we'll hopefully come back a bit later. If not, we'll be back for next week. So I do apologise for that, but there's not too much we can do about it. So I'll leave the stream on for another minute or two, and then I'll just close it. So yes, give me a moment. All right, yeah, we will abandon the stream now. So apologies about that, and if not later, then we will catch you next week for round one. So yeah, doing our best, but we can only do what we can with what we're given. So no drama, something to look forward to for next week. Another week of sweaty practice to get faster. I'm sure the drivers will be on the game, on time trial all week before next week. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. And yeah, we'll catch you later.